In today's video, I'm going to be discussing some controversial topics, things that no longer serve me, and I'm letting them go. And you may or may not agree with any of these, and that's certainly fine. I would love if you would put your thoughts in the comments below and let's get a discussion started on some of these topics. Originally, this was going to be one video, but as I was typing up my notes, I realized it would be way too long. So I've decided to break it up into a part 1 and part 2. Just same topic, but just so it's just not quite so long. My name is Amy Brown, and I create videos all about friendship and Aldi finds and Amazon and everything else that I'm into. So if you like any of those things, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Now let's dive right in. So the concept of toxic positivity. I am rejecting the idea that 24/7, 365, we need to be upbeat and grateful. That is really popular in society right now. No one likes people that are negative, people that are toxic should be removed from your life. If they're negative, they should be removed from your life. And sometimes that makes sense, but I like having real emotions. I like being authentic. And to me, authenticity means being sad sometimes, being angry sometimes, being frustrated. And I really don't want to hear just stay positive. I do in general stay positive, but I don't think it's horrible if you have a day or two where you're just down in the dumps. And you shouldn't be labeled a Debbie Downer, or even though I love those SNL skits a lot. If you're just, are being real and being authentic. Now, yes, do you want to be friends with someone that is, hanging their head low every day, woe is me, woe is me? Probably not, probably not. Having said that, we all have days where we're not feeling it, and it should be okay to share that. Next up, something I that I run into a lot in life, that busy equals successful. And this is really true in the real estate industry in particular, but I think it's across society, so that's why I included it. It just seems to be really prevalent in real estate that if you're in real estate and you see a colleague and you say, "Hey, how are you? How have you been?" What you're likely going to hear is, "I'm so busy." Whether that's true or not, that's likely what you're going to hear. Because if you don't say, "I'm so busy," somehow you'd be afraid of being seen as less productive, or maybe you're not very important, or whatever that is. But it's just it's the need to constantly say, "I'm so busy." And I used to naively believe that, and I'd say, "Wow, these people are so busy." And then I would look at the amount of business they do, and it just didn't match what they were saying. So again, and I've seen this answer, "I'm so busy," in other contexts as well. So I don't think that needs to be the answer every time someone asks us how we're doing. Next up, this is a good one. I like this one. Morning person glorification. This is challenging the idea that you're somehow less disciplined or less successful if you don't wake up at 5 a.m. or something like that. There are many people that just aren't wired that way. I am, generally speaking, an early riser, but not super early. Not where, if you read all these books about success, they'll say, "I get up every day at 4 a.m. and I do this and I do this and I'm ready to go by 6." And then everyone's like, "Wow, you're amazing." I was in a group for 2 years that I loved, loved, loved. And it was called the 6 a.m.ers. And it was at a real estate brokerage I was with. And I really got so much out of it. We talked about so many topics about having a good life and to thrive and happiness was the point of that 6 a.m. group. And I will say it was difficult for me to get up, and it was on Zoom, it was a national group, and attend that 6 a.m. group. And I was sad when it stopped, and and then I have to say I was not sad when I could actually not have to get up that early. So um, just that this topic is that it's okay if you're not an early bird. Because when I did the 6 a.m. group and I was getting up consistently every day at 6 a.m., I was tired in the afternoon. So I'm not so tired in the afternoon like I was during the 6 a.m. group. Next up, this is a one that I'll probably get some comments on: alcohol normalization. This society in 2025, my microphone keeps dipping down here, sorry. Society glamorizes drinking. It's all over Hollywood, it's all over music. Um, I'm a Disney adult. You go to Disney, everybody's having, a cocktail at Disney. And I, for several reasons, am not into drinking. I've had migraines most of my life. And then the day after a painful migraine, you have a migraine hangover. So I've had that hangover experience hundreds of times, and I like to avoid it at all costs. So alcohol is not tempting for me in any way. But I think with women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, and let me back it up, let me say 30s too, to be popular with women these days, you have to do two things. In my view, in my mind, you have to drink a lot of wine, and you have to run 5Ks. If you don't do those two things, good luck finding friendship, because that seems to be what everyone is into. There's been more medical studies coming out that alcohol is toxic to our bodies, so that's been interesting for me to watch. That's not why I didn't drink, but it's really been eye-opening, and I read everything. I read all sorts of studies like that. I don't know why I do that, but I do. So it'll be interesting as over the next few years to see more data come out on that topic. But just not drinking, if you go to a real estate event or you go to an event, like if you're trying to meet up with some female friends, it's drinking alcohol is just key. And I really wish it wasn't. I wish it was okay. And when I don't drink, people, well, I have had so many crazy comments. They assume I'm in AA, which I'm not, although, I have nothing against it, of course. But they just say, oh, like it's a real problem for other people if I'm having a Diet Coke. I don't know why, but it is. Next topic, and this is one I've made several videos on, and if you've watched my other videos, you'll know friendships aren't always forever. We grew up hearing friendship is forever, friends are forever, and every Hallmark movie and Hallmark card, friends are forever. And boy, wouldn't that be nice if that was the case? That these ride or die friendships were there. And I know some people have those, and I've read all of your comments, and I appreciate all of your comments, and I know that some of you do have experienced and have ride or die friends in your lives, and that's wonderful. But I would say I'm going to challenge the notion that friendships are forever, because in my life I have seen, as you know, friends come and go all the time. And I just had my 55th birthday, and at 55 I can tell you that friends are still coming and going. Next topic: church isn't always a safe place for women. Woo, I'm going to hear about that. I'm going to hear about this one. But many women, not just me, have gone to church trying to make friends and make connections, and we feel overlooked, we feel silenced by the A-lister, the inner crowd females, the alpha females that run these churches. So church should be a welcoming and uplifting place, but I'm going to challenge the idea that church is always a safe place for women, because there are a lot of women that have experienced, a lot of people, I should say, that have experienced religious trauma, and due to looking for love and friendship and kindness, going into a church building and oftentimes finding anything but that. Okay, next one. I mentioned I'm a realtor, so this one is near and dear to my heart. Home ownership is thought to equal success. And I'm going to challenge that and say it doesn't always have to equal success. And we should let go of the belief that home ownership is the only path to adulthood or financial success. There are many situations and times when renting and having a more mobile lifestyle makes sense. Many times purchasing a home does not make sense and would be a really negative financial decision. And sometimes it's just not financially possible, and that's okay. That's okay. So you can still be successful and have a thriving, happy life without home ownership. And yes, you heard that from a realtor. So, like I mentioned, this is part one. I would love to see your comments. Please be kind to me in your comments. Please be kind to one another, and let's open up some dialogue. And I'm going to have a follow-up to this coming soon. Thanks for watching.